Chill here with Sirius Taurus Moon. This is Mars Hour, and the midheaven is on the lot of divination. Now, I talked about end of October, beginning of November, and it was giving witch hunt, warlock hunt type of energy. And here is the thing: the minute MK Ultra and MK Often were declassified, basically a hunt on everybody that knows too much about the project, which is psychologists, occultists, occultists, astrologers, okay? And this is why before Pluto ingressed to Aquarius, I said what I said, people get out of the lodges, but it's even more than that. Those that have businesses that are anything to do with astrology, occult, channeling, any type of that thing, and do not work with MK often, they have to make sure, okay, if they're running a business, they have to make sure that um, that the any type of targeting towards individuals from these projects is abolished, because what's going to happen is that their businesses, those people that don't talk about MK often, they don't talk about MK Ultra, and they think that by not mentioning that, they can run a business, or that they can do a double, or they can even sell talismans. And even if those are protective talismans, okay, basically, if they don't remove the targeting from the targeters, from the targeted, if they don't remove the targeting from the targeted, they are becoming targeted. And right now, the classified project's budget that was coming to their business is going to be abrupt. Very simply put, they were told that they are in good position to afford a flood, and that might not be the case. So, what do I mean by that? And again, it's midheaven on my lot of divination. And I went up and posted this post because those that participate in the psychological experiments of targeting individuals and developing torture methods against people who simply do not go with Nazi agenda, they are now being execrated from the system. And this is after they all, because there are a couple of phases. One of the first phases was anybody that would be a holistic health practitioner, naturopath, astrologer, a tarot reader. These people would be targeted. And it would be targeted so much so that they would not be able to hold a business. Now, those that survived that phase, a lot of them began to work for MK Often and MK Ultra. And what's happening is that they had to target their colleagues as well. Now, here's the thing. When we set a boundary, okay, when we set a boundary, everything that pertains to the reason that we began to set that we had to set that boundary begins to unfold. And so those that did the double, some of them even made protective talismans, people using those talismans, and they begin to see, why did they need to set a boundary here? Why did they need to set a boundary to even some of the creators of those talismans. And the people that were smug about being able to run a campaign, or that were afraid from MK Ultra, MK Often, and even participated in assisting to traffic people, they are being exposed not by the targeted individuals, but by MK Often and MK Ultra. They were told that they are in good position for the flood, and that was a scam. That was something to get them to deal with the devil, to deal with those other energies, to get them to recruit people to do stuff that are not in their best interest under the guise of a legit business. Now, some of them may got that position because their families are involved, whether it's them or whoever they're partnering up with, are involved with all kind of things, and they don't want it. People are afraid to go to prison. People are afraid to go to this. And again, if people can be afraid of whatever, if what they agree to do is to target individuals, to traffic individuals, to torture individuals, this is where they're going to find out that that was not the way out of that situation. Now, here is the thing: the targeted individuals, they do raise awareness to all the topics that the people that got blackmailed to do stuff, to do crime, are dealing with. And so each and every person they are sent to target and to torture is basically the person that was actually their hope out of that prison. And that's why they're getting paid to target individuals. Because those were the people that were raising awareness to basically what happened to these people to begin with. Now, those that are not, those that have the power to stop a person from being tortured and practice torturing a person, they are going to meet their end by what they hope to gain from that. They will not only lose, but anything they will have the added karma of all that the harm that they created, because those are crimes against humanity. Okay, those that were operating underneath gloved hand get caught red-handed. You can't do the double. You can't do the double. It's not, where people think, oh, it's the weapon industry. We do the double. We arm those. We arm those. They're gonna fight. No, no. There's a sexual boundary violation that is at the core of creating assassins and crime against humanity. And you are trying to create that within people, and then wonder why somebody would use that talisman to try to manifest the global nuclear holocaust that will leave no margins because it's more humane. And the first people that they will target is those businesses that sold aid and practice to target individuals. Just like with the drug lords, okay? If their drugs were used to traffic people, they lost it at the code of conduct, and they're going to enter prison as sex offenders because they work with dark occult and extortion cults that are trafficking cults. People that want to save astrology and occultism from scrutiny need to address those that do MK often and MK ultra, just like with psychology, okay? Definitely with psychiatry. Now, here's the thing. If those people that, let's say, create talismans or whatnot don't have the power to, like, avoid something, at the very least, they should not be working with those traffickers and targeters. Because, and if they did, they should not just clean up their act, but make sure that the targeted people get compensation. And that's lifelong. The budget exists. It's classified project budget. It's one of the biggest budgets. It's the size of the state of Afghanistan and United States alone. The state of Afghanistan's GDP, that's the size of classified projects in United States alone that are global projects targeting global individuals from around the world, and the businesses that help them do that, anything that they hope to gain from that, not only they're not gonna gain, but they're gonna get it with all the karma of what they did, unless they are full-blown 100% committed to stop those classified projects' budget being used to target individuals, to traffic people, definitely colleagues, definitely astrologers that don't work with MK often, because it's from those very organizations that told them that they are safe for the flood, that they are going to be Noah's Ark. They're going to find out there's no vacancy. That's a treason code. This is how treason codes work. They tell their people, come with us, work with us, you're going to be granted, pick your battles, blah, blah, blah. And then they're going to let them do the thing, get rich, get a global business, get whatnot. And then they're going to throw the carpet from beneath their feet. And they're going to get Algor Hiss at the best of cases. These are crimes against humanity. That people that did on the regular crimes against humanity, that their lists of names are going to be exposed, whether it's Detru, as Epstein, or whatnot. They're looking to expose the people underneath gloved hands that did the puppeteering and mind control. And the devil dealing is not going to work for the people within the system. Now here's the thing. Targeted individuals are less dangerous than people within the system, because targeted individuals, to begin with, under torture, they were not willing to torture. The businesses that picked their battles and were willing to torture, or to assist in services, in teachings, in whether it is psychology, astrology, whatnot, those businesses, they are more dangerous, because if they work, if they leave, okay, if they know too much, they are afraid that they will open a competing business. Think about a person that knows too much about the mafia, but is targeted, but it was the targeted person, and they showed that they just want to run a business. That's a person that might even be protected by the mafia, but for them it's like, I don't care, you want to protect me, protect me, don't want to protect me, don't protect me, but I'm not working for the mafia. Because they shown out the torture that they don't want to do that dumb fuckery. And that they will get out the minute they can get out of a situation, they go back to being who they are. Whereas the people that were working within those lines, and then they know too much, they can open a competing mafia business. And that power struggle is the scary thing. So that's why those that work with the MK Ultra and MK Ultra, they are the first to be targeted, more so than the targeted individuals, because these guys have shown persistent torturing, causing people to kill themselves, raping people in their own isolated spaces, not reaching out for help, torturing people with all kind of sounds or whatnot, getting people to traffic people, whatnot. They know too much, okay, and they've shown that they have the capacity to compete the CIA, for example, and they're as criminal, they're as vile. They're the Frank Olsons of society, and those people, as far as the CIA goes, they need to go down, and you got to be going down by their own methods. This is what is the heart of this witch hunt timeline. Now, it doesn't pertain only to astrology, also real estate business. Any type of business in general. But it pertains to the particular people that have the tools that worked with MK Ultra and MK Ultra that target dead individuals. Now, here's the thing: it's not coming from the targeted individuals. It's not, when it's underneath gloved hand. It's not. They're not going to take a targeted individual and say identify it's that person or that person. No, they already know who the people are. And when they know too much, they want to get rid of them. That's what happened to Frank Olson. If they protect the targeted individuals, they get more divine protection. That's what I received. Meet heaven on my lot of divination. Okay? And that is something that's important to remember. If somebody had the power to torture an individual, they had the power to stop that torture. If they don't do that, it's not from the targeted individuals. It's from the very authoritative and the very classified project budget that they are going to be, I don't know, it's from those echelons that are going to get rid of them, because this person have shown that they would do that much harm, and if they know too much, then they can be a competition, and then they're targeted. They're not people that thought to get a ticket to Noah's Ark by doing that have basically they better fight against the flood. They better fight against the very bringing of the flood, rather than try to get a ticket in Noah's Ark by showing how evil they can be, because that's basically what's, you know, is basically showing that they're not the fool, because they did that to individuals. And from that perspective, that is, and here, people that try to psychologically fight the person and say mantra like, oh, that they are wrong, they are wrong, they are wrong. Nada. It's not going to work. The only way, the only way is to protect those individuals And people are thinking, oh, we're gonna intensify the this. It's gonna da 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 da. Fantastic. Then you're gonna want to cash in on your ticket to Noah's Ark. Then they'll tell you the door is gesloten. That was the end game to begin with. That to begin with was the end game. And I'm not even saying that out of moral judgment. Okay? The people hurt people. So it's not even out of moral judgment. It's simply meaning that those trajectories lead to those trajectories. And this is they actually, here's the thing, they try to get people power hungry, and power not as standing in their power, but as abusing power by purpose to get them to fall. And it's gonna be by children. Here it is. I know the ascendant entered this deacon. I know the ascendant, because it's gonna be the downfall is gonna be because of something to do with children. It might even be that their children will expose something, or I don't know. But the downfall is because it's going to be because of something to do with children. That's what I'm receiving. But this is also the remedy, okay? I'm not here to say like rage prophecies. I always try to find a place where it's not just a rage prophecy, and I didn't get a 444 for this one. So it's not a Gabriel, it's not a fate has been decided. No. It just means that that's the trajectory, the points of interference to save the children, to prevent the trafficking of children, to save children that were trafficked, to abolish, stop any targeting of children. And then the second frontier, that people that are targeted individuals because they tend to the children, to the missing children, to the lost children, to stop targeting them, to protect the people that save the children. And first to protect the children and the people that save the children, can actually provide them with to the people that to protect those that can provide with caregiving, that is actual caregiving. Okay, just not using care for control. Basically, to discontinue the timelines. Okay, to discontinue the timelines, and those are the things that are the preventative measures. Those are the points of interferences that we do have, and protecting abolishing any technique that gets a person to their inner child state. And by the way, torture gets people to their inner child state, and it's done to traumatize the inner child. And so those techniques must be abolished. And it's not about speaking with their colleagues, it's about stopping something dead in its tracks when it's occurring. That's why I got children. Because the methods of torture are supposed to get people to their childlike state and harm that state. So, and this is where the point of interference is, because by stopping those type of techniques and those type of tortures dead in their tracks, then a person can actually divert the timeline to timeline where the harms being what they did or the harm they caused being transmuted, but also the harm that was caused to them being transmuted. Because they begin to take action in the face of the trauma of their own inner child. And that's the point.